Can I ask you, how often when things are not going the way you'd like them to, do you automatically blame and criticize yourself? Without even thinking about it, many of us will beat ourselves up should we, for example, happen to drop or break something, or forget someone's name, or be late for an appointment. And we might all too quickly label ourselves as clumsy, stupid, or a scatterbrain. Last time we looked at the role of compassion, and particularly the role of self-compassion in our applied mindfulness journey. We know that with training and applied mindfulness, we start paying attention to what's going on in our mind, which means we become more aware of this self-blaming, criticizing type of activity, perhaps noticing it for the very first time. In the process, we might be surprised to realize that we continually generate judgments about almost everything we experience. It can be astonishing to discover the critical voice each of us has in our head and the extent to which it can cause us to react. How we label and categorize each experience we have in terms of its value to us, and at times just how little self-compassion we exercise. We judge people, things, as events as good because they produce a positive feeling in us, or we simply condemn others out of hand because they make us feel bad. And those experiences that we find neither good nor bad, we are likely to dismiss as being irrelevant. We somehow just regard them as dull and pay very little attention to them. This way of automatically judging and categorizing our experiences as good, bad, or uninteresting triggers in us many ill-considered reactions. As a result, our self-judgments are seldom objective or even based in reality. And our judgments have a way of dominating our thoughts and emotions, making it hard for us to discern what's actually going on, both inside us and in the outer world. Is it any wonder that we may struggle to find inner peace? In its defense, when allowed free rein, our inner critic may at times serve as a helpful internal advisor. But as we are seeing, it can just as quickly become a ruthless critic, bully, or dictator. An inner enemy, if you like. On a good day, our inner critic might boost our confidence level by telling us that we're doing pretty well, are hardworking and intelligent. It might let us know that when something unfortunate has happened, that it was not actually our fault. In doing so, it might save us from agonizing over an event in an unnecessary way. But equally, our inner critic can turn against us. At times, perhaps in the name of being positive, our critic can promote delusions of self-grandeur. It can have us think that we are more intelligent than most, or it might have us believe we're never wrong. Or it can even have us imagine others envy us because they think we are desirable and talented. But perhaps more often, our inner critic is likely to call us stupid, weak, clumsy, bad, or some other really harsh thing. In doing so, it might have us say things to ourselves we'd simply never dream of saying out loud to another person. It's just so interesting to realize how the self-critic continually creates unreliable stories in our mind. And it's largely this dubious function that allows us to have the stronghold that it can have over us. The real danger here is that these stories support unsubstantiated beliefs about who we are, about what people might think of us, about how we compare to others, and about the overwhelming number of things that we need to do. Worse, with the pretext of constructive self-criticism, it might foster in us an unhelpful sense of inadequacy, self-loathing, or shame. Sadly, for some this can become so overwhelming that it can end up stopping them dead in their tracks. But as it turns out, we are all prone to being fused with our mental process. It is, of course, very easy for us to lose sight of the fact that our thoughts are merely thoughts, that they are just a voice in our head which in reality is no more than a mental event. This being the case, we are likely to mistake our inner critic for our own true voice, our own conscious thoughts, and even our own authentic self. Can you see how it is with very good reason that the concept of non-judgment is central to the applied mindfulness practice? Indeed, our very definition of mindfulness suggests that it is noticing what is happening in the present moment, on purpose, in a particular way, and crucially, non-judgmentally. So as we go through our training and develop our own applied mindfulness practice, we're advised to look out for this inner critic, this judging quality within ourselves, And when it appears, as it inevitably will, to simply recognize it for what it is. With our training, we're invited to observe our experience of the moment with impartiality, intentionally not making judgments about it. We simply notice what is unfolding in the present moment. And included in this is noticing our own reactions or response to our experience. Of course, if we happen to notice a judgmental reaction, there's no benefit to be gained for us judging our own judging, as we might well be tempted to do. Going down this route will only complicate our experience. All that's needed is for us to notice our judging, to be aware of it. And there's also no need for us to try preventing our mind from running away with us, as potentially it will do from time to time. In fact, it would be unwise for us to even try. But at those times when we do get caught up in the drama of our thought stream, when we notice that we've been carried away or held hostage by it, we're invited to steady and gather the mind as best we can. We may do this by remembering to actively bring the focus of our attention to the breath. And while doing so, we're invited to view each in-breath as a new beginning, and to experience a letting go with each out-breath. Through our training and regular mindfulness practice, we start to recognize that our thoughts, either self-critical or otherwise, are indeed just that, thoughts. That is, our thoughts are simply mental events rather than the absolute reality we so often take them to be. For many of us, this can come as a life-changing insight. Simply put, our thoughts are not facts. I wonder if you can see how this awareness allows us to become less fused with our judgments. How it enables us to simply step back and start viewing our mental process, perhaps in a way as might a curious external advisor. Can you see how learning to diffuse from our thoughts provides us with a different way to respond to them? How it enables us to replace our self-criticism with a more beneficial sense of self-kindness and self-compassion. There'll be some more on the diffusing process in the next video in this series. But in the meanwhile, expect life to be different.